Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us at the Hopenning, the place where hope is happening. And this is episode 66. My dear friend Fran and I'm Marina. We started this place, this spot, this space about a year and a half ago when we felt the need for a positive place where you always feel hope, where you can come to when the world out there is just not so full of hope anymore. So Fran is a full-time teacher for now. She will be retiring in a few days, and she's in Northern Alberta, Canada. She's been teaching for 34 years and working with elementary school age children, and I'm pretty sure giving them a lot of hope every day as well. Fran is also right now off work because even though she's in her office at work, there are some horrible fires happening in Alberta at the moment. And if you have it in your heart to send a prayer or a positive thought and well wish towards Northern Alberta, Central and Northern Alberta, that would be wonderful. Thank you. I am in Calgary, Alberta, and I'm a full-time rapid transformational therapist. And I did not say that about Fran. That's what she does as well. Rapid transformational therapy, we're both practitioners of that. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. And we do this because we serve, it's our mission to help people and to bring hope to the world on many levels, not just here, but in taking people's pain and transforming it into hope and wonderful things. So, Fran, why don't you introduce the topic for today?
You, Marina. Yes, as you just said, I am working here in my classroom actually because my internet at home is sketchy because of the forest fires. So
And all the kids being at home playing games and
all
a big
kinds.
load on internet.
That's right. Internet in the north is always an issue. So yes, I am here at school, but my students aren't. And yeah, thank you for asking for well wishes and prayers. We definitely need it. Our topic for the day for Hopenning 66 is, well, Marina, how do we know when we're on the right track? That is our topic because the right track can look different for everyone depending on what our goal is. And I think how we can start this out is, how did you know that you were on the right track? Putting you on the spot.
You know, it's interesting, Fran, because I look at my entire life and I've done a lot of things. I started my very first job, I was still in high school, was in the pharmacy. And then I kind of wanted pocket money. And so I worked in a pharmacy, and I worked in a pharmacy pretty much throughout university. And but then I became an opera singer. So that was my second job. And I know I was good at it because I got a pretty nice job from it. And nothing lasted though. That didn't last because I really didn't believe in myself. And then from there, when I moved to Canada, I did many different jobs and nothing ever felt right. So I was always chasing after the next thing. And it was not until I found rapid transformational therapy when I felt, oh my gosh, I was born for this. And so it just felt so right. It just felt like such a fit and still does. And it's just been an absolutely amazing life. And that sense of I love what I do and I do what I love. It's incredible. Well, that's work related. And I know there are a lot of other paths people can be up on: growth, personal development, whatever else it is, relationships. So tell me what your thoughts are.
You said something that I think is a key, and it's being passionate. So the word passionate is more than it's an action, it's a verb, it's more than just a verb. It's a way of being. And so yeah, we shouldn't think about our job when we're not doing our job. There's my bell. We shouldn't be thinking about our work when we're not doing our work. However, when you're passionate about your work, You just
Mhm,
automatically
mhm,
do. You think about the job when you're not even at the job. And as a teacher, you can, you'll ask any teacher in the middle of summer, and teachers are always on the scouting something for their next classroom. Oh my God,
mhm,
I need that. I need that. Oh, I just saw that. It's a passion, and it's more than just a job. For you and for me, we do rapid transformational therapy. It's more than just a job. It's more than just punching clock. It's working. It's a job because we know it changes lives. Same with my job here at the school. I know I change lives, and I know that it's more than just have a nice day, thank you. Um, it absolutely will change lives. And what we do every day with rapid transformational therapy, we see it. We see the
yeah,
difference it
yeah.
makes. When we look back at our clients that we had 2 years ago, where they are today from where they were
Mhm,
2 years ago, it's stunning.
it
It's
is.
really stunning, the amazing changes from, from one
Mhm,
session.
mhm,
And so passion has to be in the job. It has to be more than just something that you get paid for, because there's a lot of jobs where you can get paid
mhm,
really, really well. But if your heart is not in it, it really makes no difference in the
yeah.
long run. A person will look back and go, I wish that I had done something different with my life. And that's what at the end of life coaches say it all the time. People who are in their last few years will look back and say, I wish I had made more of a difference.
Mhm,
So I think
mhm.
passion is number one. If you don't have passion in whatever it is you're doing, probably you're not on the right track.
So tell me about other kinds of tracks. I mean, there is job, which is a big one, but there are others. So what else comes to mind?
Relationships. So when I think about the next thing is what relationships are you building wherever you are? And for a long time, and I talked to a good friend about this the other night. Um, it's more difficult for me to be in a relationship with anybody, male or female, or whatever gender, if there's not a reciprocated relationship.
Mhm,
There has to be
right,
balance.
right.
And if I don't find balance within a relationship, it's difficult for me to stay in there, because for me, I spent a lot of time giving, giving, giving.
Mhm. And that goes to friendships then as well. You're not just talking about potential romantic relationships.
Yes, absolutely. Whether it's a spousal relationship or
Hmm.
whether it's a
Oh,
friendship,
for sure. Yeah.
there has to be balance.
Hmm.
And if there's no balance, it's easy to see right away. And at one time in my life, it wasn't important because I was hiding too much of myself. I was more than happy to let that other person take charge and have the say or have the most of the conversation time or whatever, because I didn't want to share what was really happening inside of me, because there was just too much I wanted to hide still.
Hmm. Hmm.
And as I grew out of my shell, it's like, you know what? I'm important too. I am equally important in this relationship. And so the relationships where it's not built on a mutual sense of balance. And it doesn't have to be that all the time, but in the
Hmm.
long run, it should be balanced. Then
Right.
those types of relationships I know are not right for me. And
Hmm.
I will pull away, and maybe the other person pulls away as well, just because of that type of energy that's going on.
Well, that opens to me a big Pandora's box because I think when you are an empath, which I don't think you and I could be doing what we're doing if we were not. You tend to try to please everybody else around you before you try to please yourself. You tend to self-sacrifice. You tend to keep other people happy So you would be the one to pick up the phone and call and ask, how are you? In with your siblings, with your family, with other people. And sometimes, the realization that, listen, what would happen if I do not call for a month? Would they call me? That's actually quite an interesting experiment, and I had to do that at some points in my life to understand what is my value really in this. Is it only my need to please them? Is it my need for contact? What is it? And self-analyze here. So there's so much in this topic, Fran.
There truly is, Marina, and whether it's in a relationship, a romantic relationship, or in a friendship, or in a sibling, familial relationship, it has to be balanced. And I
Right.
know, because you and I, we feel things deeply.
Mm-hmm.
We feel it deeply, and I didn't understand that the rest of the world didn't, you know, or not as deeply as me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does hurt me when when the relationship is not reciprocated. It does hurt, but not everyone is like me. And I grew to understand that along the way, that if I stay in relationship where I continually am hurt, not from somebody
Mm-hmm.
else, I hurt myself, right? It's this thing. But I need to do what's best for me. There's only one of
Absolutely.
me. There's
Absolutely.
only one.
So another aspect of how do you know you're on the right path? I think it's personal growth. So tell me, what are your thoughts about that?
Because I am who I am, I'm a learner, right? It's one of my number one things is I am a learner. And so it doesn't matter where you're going to put me. If you're going to put me in a jungle or desert or top of a mountain, I'm going to be there to learn. And if I'm learning from the environment, or if I'm learning from people, if I'm learning from something else, that's what I do. I naturally ask questions. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so in our business and hypnotherapy, that's what this is all about. It's asking questions. And so my personal growth always has to do with learning more, learning and understanding more, understanding about people. If I it just comes naturally to me. Um, it's something that I love to do.
I think
And
one of the biggest misconceptions is, and with anything in life, is that there is a destination.
mm,
And while there's still life, while your heart is still beating, it's still a journey. It's still a learning journey. And whatever lesson shows up for you, learn a lesson. And whether it's, a lot of people say, well, I failed. No, no, no. I love one of my mentors, Mary Morrissey, said, it's not failure, it's feedback. And I think it was Thomas Edison, when somebody asked him how did it feel, because he tried like 500 times to get the light bulb to work. How does it feel that you failed so many times? He said, I didn't fail that many times. I had so many feedbacks. And that's exactly what it is. Or that's how many times I figured out the light bulb does not work. I believe it's him. I may be misquoting this, so forgive me if I do. Um, but it's growth. It's always growth. And even in what we do, I am studying every single day. Every single day I am in this material. I am in people that inspire me to see how else can I help my clients. How can I paint a picture to them that help them understand that there's so much better in life than the pain that they're experiencing.
it's because we're on the right path, right? Because we're on the right path, that's what interests us.
Yeah.
So find something that you're so interested in that you will. It's not like I'm being pushed. I don't have to push myself. It's like a vortex, right?
Right.
Once you
Right.
get in there, it's just we're in, and we like being in, and it's something that just fulfills us. It's it's wonderful. I think one important thing that is important to say as well is at times it'll feel a little bit, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
It'll feel as though, oh gosh, is this the right, is it right? Because there's that ego part of us, right?
Right.
the ego will say, ah, that's a little hokey, Fran. How can that work? How can that hypnotherapy stuff work, really work? Because, we have been told and over, and for some people, this is what works for them, that it takes a long, 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 long time. It takes so long to find results. And you just keep on it. And for some people, yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. But the voice of passion, the voice of the higher power voice has to be louder than that ego voice, the voice that keeps telling you, this is just not right. Because if you listen to that one, yeah, you will be put back.
Right.
It's not safe. It's not too safe to put yourself out there. I don't know. And it happens. But then you'll get confirmation. And that's another thing that is super interesting if you're on the right track. There will be confirmation about this is what's right. Just keep on the path. Keep on the path.
I think listening to your inner voice and that discomfort, sometimes it's a message. I read something about that this morning, and I remember that feeling of belonging in my life has been quite a catalyst to me. And I was 9 years old when I lived in South Africa, and I said to my mother that I don't want to live in South Africa when I'm a grown up. And I was 32 years old when I moved to Canada, and I've been here for 23 years. You can do the math and know how old I am. And so I've been here for 23 years now, and this feels right. It feels like home. This is where I met my amazing husband. This is where my kids found success and love and just a wonderful life. We recently, as you know, we went to India, and in India there are all these astrologers, and I find it fascinating. There's even a university training the astrologers in when we were in Jaipur. It's kind of a hub for astrologers. We ended up meeting one accidentally, and it was at a jewelry store. And of course, you wanna look at the Indian gemstones and just curiosity. And we were actually looking at some other artwork that he had. When he started to tell me about my astrology, and it was fascinating because he said to me, he took my hand, and it's almost one of the only things he said to me is that you are not living in the country of your birth, and that's a good thing. And I was like, what a weird thing to say, but it goes over my head. I don't pay attention. So in we go to another store, and there's an astrologer, and Wayne said, well, maybe I should go see what they say to me. And so he goes in, and the guy look at me. He said, do you want me to look at you as well? And I thought that would be fascinating to compare it. And he took my hand and he said to me, you don't live in the same country that you were born with, and it's a good thing. And I'm like, what? That's just weird. That's just weird. But it's that sense of belonging. And I found that in jobs a lot in my life, because I'm a very passionate person. You were talking about passion. You can make me excited about pretty much anything, and I will start to dream dreams about it. But then when I start to listen to my inner voice, when I allow myself to let that tone down a little bit, I would feel that, is this where I belong, or is this not where I belong? And that's been such a guidance to me in my life, in relationships, in jobs, in so many things. And I'm going on there's some aspect in my life where I have a little bit of a discontent at the moment. And so in my quiet time this morning, I basically ask, okay, but where is this going? I know I have this ability to do this, but it's annoying me because it feels as if it's just not right. I'm not home. I don't belong. And it's interesting because I listened to Joe Dispenza, and he said something in there that I can relate so much in my work in RTT. And that is, if it's your mission, if it is your calling, if it's why you are here, then everything will just flow naturally. And I realized that what I'm trying to do with that is because I'm trying to belong somewhere that's actually not the right fit for me. And it was just, oh, okay, now I know. It's that aha moment that, okay, if I pull that into my message, my mission, everything will change. And suddenly, when I thought about it, I'm like, okay, it's home, it belongs.
Hmm. Hmm. So did you figure out where your discontent was?
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah, trying to fit something that's just really not my path. Trying to walk in a situation where I do my best with it and I do well with it, but I just do not feel I belong. And then I look at other people who do really well in that industry specifically, and I look at them, I'm like, well, they belong, and I'm just not part of that community. And I just do not feel a fit. It's amazing. But it's the message to me behind that is to listen to that discontent, listen to that inner voice, to the message in that, because now I know that there's a shift that I need to make in that. And that is the most important thing. It's not giving up on it. It's just making that tiny little detour, a
You know,
redirection, not really a detour, but a redirection.
and it's about allowing that small voice to speak,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right? Rather than giving common sense
right.
reasons or, you know, the one side, the logical side of the brain,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
not allowing that voice, the voice to speak, the voice that's knocking, right?
yeah,
I stand on the door and knock. Uh, are you going to let me in? So that in itself is a real jewel of wisdom because we can be on the right track,
mm-hmm,
definitely. And yet there are going to be times when it feels like the door is closed. The
mm-hmm.
door is closed. I don't know why the door is closed. Let's keep on trying this door. Let's keep
Right.
knocking on that door. Let's keep on. Let's keep on. Maybe I'm not holding the door handle right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And when you finally go, well, you know, maybe there's another door on the other side, or maybe there's a door that leads to something a little bit better than this door
yeah,
does.
yeah.
And it takes a bit of self-searching too,
Mm-hmm,
right? You
mm-hmm,
allowed yourself time, and you spoke to it, which in itself, I mean, we talked about
mm-hmm,
that ego thing. Well, it doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense. We do
yeah,
it with our clients all the time. We we talk to the part of our client who's feeling that emotion at that particular part of their life.
right, right.
So if you were 9 years old and you had this feeling that you would never wanted to stay in South Africa for the rest of your life, and that was making you stuck, if that was making you stuck, we would have gone back to that scene perhaps
Mm-hmm,
and find out exactly what was going on. It's kind of like with that little inner voice. It's speak to that little inner voice, that gem of wisdom, because it knows something that this whatever 23 plus 32 or year old maybe is missing right now.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's just incredible when you get that inner voice and you can run with it. And I can think of so many examples in my life. And one of the turning points also is in 2018 when I ran an import business and I was putting a lot of passion into this. I did get sick but things started to go wrong. And so this is my another point for me. When the universe starts to tell you, there's a sign here, there's a sign there, and you try to push past it and you say, okay, so I'm going to give you an example. We were importing wine into Canada. That was our business, me and my husband. He was doing something else full time, so it became my full time job. And there's some elements of high end wines that we love. But the business was a hard business. And as a small business, it was tough. We had to store our wines at a government facility. once they dropped a case of the wine and they sent me a bill for breakage fee, nothing to do with me. And then, so little signs showed up. Like I would work, go from store to store to store, letting these guys taste my wines and try to tell them, take the wines. And then they would say, okay, we're going to do, and they never do. And then when you follow up with them, they just ghost you. That was tough. It was a tough business. And there are so many products that you compete with. And then eventually we had a shipment that froze. The trucking company neglected our, I mean, the weather in Canada. I mean, anyway, they did not secure or insulate the truck it was on, or send it in a heated truck, and it froze, and it was an entire shipment. It was so much money down the drain. We eventually did take them, we did sue them, and we did get the money back. But all that drama made me realize that I cannot do this. I just cannot do this. And there was another, we took over some wine from another agent. When we tasted the wine, when the clients tasted the wine, once it arrived, I got the one call after the other, the wine it's off. So there was a crystallization, which meant that the truck was sitting in a warm sun somewhere, and again, not insulated. And at that point, I'm like, okay, universe, I hear you. I'm done. I just cannot do this. And it was very interesting because the moment I accepted that and I realized that this is it, somebody contacted me and said they have a buyer for my company. I'm interested in selling. And I like, there you go, done. And I never looked back. So, and that was, again, it was the universe starting to tell you, okay, this is not the right fit. This is not what you're supposed to do. So these little things that goes wrong.
My question to you is, before you started the business,
Mm-hmm.
were there red flags?
It was in me, but I was not willing to look at that because I'm an empath. And my husband really wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to make him happy because that's
Right.
what empaths does.
Yeah.
And I should have, and it was during a time in his business where the market was really down for him. So he started to do the research. It's doable. We can do this. And I just jumped into it. And some parts of it I really loved. But it's that, oh my gosh, it's, yeah, other parts of it, like I explained, it was just not a fit. It was not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So that discomfort, that little whisper, it's again Mary Morrissey who said in one of the conferences I went to, it's sometimes the universe tickles you with a little feather, and that you don't listen until it hits you with a 2x4. So yeah.
Boy, is that
Yeah.
ever true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the red flags. And you said it perfectly. Because we're empaths, our goal, we were
Mm-hmm.
raised to help people be happy.
Right.
And whatever position in our family we were born in, or whatever, Susan Pierce Thompson would call it the child who tries to smooth the water. That we're not the high achiever, we're not the rebel, we're not the sick one. We are the ones that are the loving, kind ones that try to fix things, to try to make everybody else feel good.
Right.
And yeah, exactly.
And we have that feeling radar. We're so in tune with other people's feelings. We can read them like a book, and then we adjust.
Yep.
Just to make them happy, just to feel again as if we belong.
And it makes us happy when they're happy. So if your husband was excited because you're starting this business, then you're excited too and happy. And rather than reading the feather, rather than feeling the tickle of the feather, we're so tuned in with how they're feeling that we're missing the we're missing the information. We're missing.
Now, again, what did I learn through it? I learned that if that happens again today and Wayne says, let's do this, I'm going to say, love, that's not a right fit for me. I've learned to speak up for me. I've learned to recognize that I cannot always live my life to please other people. And my relationship with my husband is good enough. But I can be honest and tell him, not for me. So, but the lessons learned also is that I did have a path that was important for me to follow. I did have a job that would give me life that I love, that would make me love my life even more. It was always there for me, and I had to find it.
Yeah, I like that what you said. No way, no, how did you say it? No love, this is not the right fit for me. Yeah. That was, if I was listening to that, I'd go, okay, look, she still loves me. And it's about her. It's about, not about me, about my dumb idea or my whatever, it's not, no criticism against you. It's just, well, love, it's just not a good fit for me.
Right. I had to find my voice though, Fran. In the whole healing process, I was never a person who would speak freely. And it comes back to the empath again. I always would hold back and would rather say what I thought would make other people happy. And in that, I robbed myself of the freedom to express myself. So I would not speak truthfully for me. And I had to learn to do that. So today, I mean, every single day, I think we can get examples of where I had to say, okay, that's a fit or no, it's not a fit. And I'm giving you an example. I want to get some yard work done. And so I got some different quotes. And one guy, such a sweet guy, so passionate about his job, but he keep on pushing me to a point where this is not where I see myself. So thinking last night that I actually owe him a message to say, hi, dude, you are great, but number one, this is way more money than I want to spend on this. And this is not really my vision. And not to feel bad about saying that, because right now I'm just stringing him along because I feel too bad to tell him no.
Interesting, isn't it? Super interesting. So these things from our childhood, yeah, it does resurface, even if we're on the right track, even if we do our meditating, even if we're in good relationships, even if the stuff from our childhood, it comes back up. And what do? We keep up the practice. We keep up.
Absolutely.
If Marina, that speaking up for yourself, speaking up, saying those things, this is just not going to work for me. Keep up the practice, keep on practicing. You get better at it. You get so much better at it. I mean, pretty soon it becomes, for me, it'll become, no way, man. I mean, it's that simple. No way, man.
Yeah. That's my husband. He will just say, no, not happening. To me, it's like, oh, but if I say no, the poor guy, he was so sweet and he did so much. He contacted me so diligently, and how can I let him down? Like, well, I'm not doing him any service. Maybe he's holding off another job that is running with what he does, because he's waiting for me to say, okay, come, start the job. And so I'm not doing him any favors, and I'm definitely not doing myself any favors.
So we're all a work in progress.
Absolutely, Fran, it's never ending. Now, when I started to meditate every day, I think a part of me was always, at what point is it going to be enough? And it's not something that I will ever quit. It will be every day for the rest of my life. It's just, I don't want to slide back into the life I lived when I was not so tapped into that connection with the higher powers out there. I just cannot imagine myself going back to that life where I was so wrapped in negativity and fear and worry, and where the empath in me was 100% self-sacrificing every day. I just cannot imagine myself going back there. And I thought about, I 100% disagree with this, but that diet, it's the diabetes medication Ozempic that suddenly is becoming this diet thing. And one of the first things the doctor says is once you start it, you can never stop. And it's scary. It's scary because even weight loss, it's not a destination, it's a journey. Mm-hmm. If you want to eat that piece of cake today, you have to balance it out with something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an everyday practice.
Yeah.
It's like me telling you, Marina, I'll never have to drink water again because I drank lots already.
Yeah.
I'm good with water. Never drink another drop because all those years of drinking water, good now. Right. It's really silly. And yet it's the same way, like what you said, with weight loss, with developing good habits, meditation habits, prayer practice, connecting with your higher power, connecting with your inner self. Right. The relationships. You can't continue a relationship if you don't continue the relationship.
So, Fran, tell me, if you would get a client today who is telling you that I don't know which path to go on, I have this choice or that choice, what advice would you give them?
People will always, what you hear is, well, you make a list and you put your pros and your cons and you just, you look at your list. Well, I don't do that list stuff. I don't. That's not the way my brain works. What I would say is, okay, picture yourself in both. So make your picture. Yeah. So if one of the paths is I retire, okay, Fran, picture yourself in retirement. What are you doing? What are you hearing? What are you saying? Who are you interacting with? Picture yourself in something different. The other path choice. What are you saying, thinking, feeling as well? The feeling part is significant. So once you picture yourself in those two places, it'll be much more clear. And if you're still not sure, do it again. Do it again when you're in a different place. So maybe you're a little tired right now. Try again tomorrow morning when you're not as tired. Do it again when you're not stressed out. Do it again when. Just keep on picturing yourself. One will become super clear and the other is going to be like, yeah, I don't like picturing myself over there. There's something about that one that, my inner does not want to go there. Oh, okay. That makes it more simple. Write it out. Take your picture.
What I also see sometimes is, so I always talk about your future self. So if you want to lose weight and picture your future self, what does your future self look like? But how many times you encounter that people don't feel that they're good enough to achieve that?
It's interesting, right? We think we can climb, there's certain things that, man, losing that 100 pounds, I've tried my whole life. I've been up, down, up, down. I just can't lose, whether it's 100 pounds or whether it's 10 pounds. I can't stay there. But the power of words as well. We've talked about the power of words before. Okay, I can't do it. Stop talking yourself into not being able to do it.
And a lot of times what I find when people present you, well, I can either go in this direction or in that direction. When I really ask them, okay, if you close your eyes, and what is it that you, in your heart of heart, in a perfect world, what is it that you would love more than anything else? What they present with is the best thing that they can imagine, and the second choice. And then a lot of times, because they don't feel good enough, they would second for the second choice. So to me, it's like identify that and if they come from, okay, I think I feel more comfortable in this, then I really investigate, because if it is their second choice, I'm trying to let them see that actually then they're going to be hit by that 2x4 again, because they're just not going to feel at home in that. So if they can find a place where they feel 100% at home and push themselves to open themselves up to feel, well, I'm worthy of this. I'm worthy of the best. So my thoughts about it.
I like that. I like that. I am worthy. I am worthy. Not I can't.
Yeah.
I am worthy. And you, even if part of your brain doesn't believe it right now, you just keep on saying it. You
Exactly.
keep on saying it, keep on writing it, keep on believing it, keep on visualizing it, keep on, because as we've said before, your brain doesn't know. Your brain doesn't know what is real and what's not. Just keep on presenting the images, and your brain will start to believe it as well. If you keep on saying, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, your brain will believe that too.
Indeed. Well, this was fun. Thank you. And
good Lord willing, my internet will be working great again. So next week. And otherwise, I'll be back here talking with you again.
Well, thank you for being here, Fran, and thank you for everybody watching and listening today. If you like us, please subscribe, and we will see you next time, bringing you lots of hope.
As much as we can. We're there for you.
Bye-bye, everyone.